Welcome to Life Pebbles. Our minds are powerful tools, but sometimes they can become our worst enemies, especially when they get stuck in a cycle of negative thinking. You might be going about your day seemingly fine, but beneath the surface, you're caught in a whirlpool of pessimism. You might not even realize how deeply it's affecting you and how it's shaping your perspective on life. People who are trapped in a cycle of negative thinking often display these 7 behaviors. Number 1, excessive self-criticism. Perhaps one of the most common signs of a negative thinking cycle is an increased level of self-criticism. You may find that you're constantly berating yourself. It's as if there's an internal critic living in your head, relentlessly pointing out your flaws and shortcomings. This voice might convince you that you're not good enough or not worthy. However, it's important to remember that this voice is not a reflection of reality, but a distorted mirror created by negative thinking. Taking steps to silence this internal critic can be the first step towards breaking free from this destructive cycle. Number 2, overemphasis on positive thinking. Surprisingly, one sign of being trapped in negative thinking can be an overemphasis on positivity. You might find yourself constantly trying to maintain a positive outlook to the point where it becomes exhausting. This relentless pursuit of positivity can often lead to denial or dismissal of any negative emotions, creating an internal conflict. This is known as toxic positivity, the belief that no matter how dire or difficult a situation is, positive thinking will solve it. This overemphasis on positivity can actually feed the cycle of negative thinking, as it creates an unrealistic standard for happiness and success. Recognizing this pattern can be challenging, as society often encourages this always happy mindset. However, accepting all emotions, both positive and negative, is crucial for mental well-being. Number 3, constant worry about the future. You may find yourself lying awake at night, haunted by a parade of what-ifs. This constant anxiety about what could go wrong in the future prevents you from enjoying the present. You may become so preoccupied with potential problems that you miss out on the joys of today. It's natural to worry about the future to some extent. However, if your future-focused fears are overwhelming and paralyzing, it might be a sign that your thoughts are skewed towards negativity. By learning to focus more on the present moment, you can start to shift away from this cycle of negative thinking. Number 4, the rumination trap. Did you know that the human mind tends to dwell more on negative experiences than positive ones? This is known as the negativity bias. This bias makes us more susceptible to falling into a cycle of negative thinking, especially when it takes the form of rumination, or repeatedly going over a negative event or problem without resolution. You may find yourself stuck in a loop, replaying past mistakes or revisiting painful conversations. This rumination doesn't lead to any solutions, but instead feeds into your negativity and keeps you trapped in a cycle of pessimistic thoughts. Recognizing this tendency towards rumination can help you break the cycle. By consciously redirecting your thoughts towards more constructive paths, you can begin to escape from this trap of negativity. Number 5, feeling stuck in a life narrative of failure. Sometimes, the cycle of negative thinking can become so deeply ingrained that it shapes your entire life narrative. You might start seeing your life as a series of failures, losses, and missed opportunities. Each setback reinforces this narrative, leaving you feeling stuck in a story of defeat. This perception can be so powerful that it blurs out any successes or achievements, making them seem insignificant or unearned. Life is full of ups and downs, victories and defeats. But when your mind is trapped in a cycle of negativity, the scale tips heavily towards the downs and defeats. If you notice this pattern in your life narrative, it's a sign that negativity has taken the driver's seat. Remember, you are not your failures. Recognizing this skewed perception can help you rewrite your life story, one where you acknowledge your strengths and celebrate your successes. Number 6, excessive planning and control. On the surface, being organized and having a plan for everything might seem like positive traits. However, an excessive need for control and planning can actually be a sign of negative thinking. This need often stems from a fear of uncertainty and a desire to avoid negative outcomes. While it's beneficial to have plans and goals, clinging too tightly to them can lead to stress and disappointment. Life is unpredictable, and things don't always go according to plan. If you find yourself feeling anxious or upset when things don't go exactly as planned, it might be a sign that you're caught in a cycle of negativity. Learning to embrace uncertainty and let go of the need for constant control can help you break this cycle and invite more positivity into your life. Number 7, withdrawal from social connections. We are social beings by nature, thriving on connection and interaction. However, when caught in a cycle of negative thinking, you may find yourself withdrawing from these vital connections. You may start to isolate yourself, declining invitations to social events, or distancing yourself from friends and family. This withdrawal often stems from feelings of inadequacy or fear of judgment, driven by the negative voice in your head. But isolation only fuels the cycle of negativity, making it harder to break free. If you notice yourself pulling away from social connections and preferring your own company most of the time, it could be a sign you're trapped in negative thinking. Remember, reaching out to loved ones and sharing your feelings can provide a much-needed perspective and emotional support. It's okay to lean on others. We all need help sometimes. Breaking the cycle. Think about negative thinking as a path in a forest. The more you walk down this path, the easier it is to follow. This is how our brains work. The more we engage in certain thought patterns, the stronger these neural pathways become. However, it's possible to create new paths. It requires consistent effort and might be difficult at first, but with time, positive thinking can become your go-to route. Replacing negative thoughts with positive ones is a common strategy, but it's not about blind optimism or ignoring reality. It's about finding a balanced perspective where you acknowledge your challenges, but also recognize your strengths and potential. Another strategy is mindfulness, being fully present in the moment and accepting it as it is, without judgment or resistance. When you catch yourself slipping into negative thoughts, bring your focus back to the present. With practice, this can help you build a healthier relationship with your thoughts. Breaking free from a cycle of negative thinking isn't an overnight process. It's a journey that requires patience and compassion towards yourself. Embracing self-love. When trapped in a cycle of negative thinking, it's easy to become your own harshest critic, seeing only your flaws and failures. But imagine what would happen if you treated yourself with the same kindness and compassion you would offer to a dear friend. Embracing self-love means replacing self-judgment with self-compassion, and understanding that making mistakes doesn't make you a failure, it makes you human. Incorporating self-love into your daily life can be as simple as taking time for self-care, setting healthy boundaries, or practicing positive self-talk. There's no love more important than the love you have for yourself. Because when you love yourself, negative thoughts will find it harder to take root. Instead, your mind will serve as fertile ground for positivity, resilience, and growth.